Welcome back to Beyond Boundaries. This Australia series feels like a defining moment for Indian cricket. It might just be the bridge between the two generations, right? The one which I grew up watching and the one that is going to step in now. Whether this really becomes the turning point, only time will tell. But one thing is clear, something serious is brewing inside BCCI selection committee. When the squad for Australia ODIs came out last weekend, analysts, fans, even the former players, all of us were left stunned. So let us start with the biggest headline, right? Shubman Gill, the new captain, and a few lines below, Shreyas Iyer as the vice captain. That caught everyone's attention. This decision feels like an accelerated coronation, where the prince becomes the king sooner than expected. It is surprising, especially when we look at Rohit Sharma's recent run, right? Since the 2022 T20 World Cup exit in the semi-final, he has completely reshaped India's white ball cricket. Under his leadership, India has lost only one major game, the 2023 World Cup final. His fitness transformation has been remarkable as well, right? In the last 3 months, he has dropped around 20 kilos, working closely with Abhishek Nair, and he looks hungrier than ever for another title in the 2027 World Cup. And then there's Shreyas Iyer, right? He has already proven his mettle as a leader. He led Kolkata Knight Riders to an IPL title, guided Punjab into an IPL final, and he has lifted domestic trophies with Mumbai, including Ranji Trophy, Irani Cup, Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. That's quite a record for someone who understands leadership at every level. So the question is, was it too early to transition to Gill so early? Or should the captaincy have first gone to Iyer before eventually reaching to Gill, perhaps closer to 2031?
Regarding leadership going to Gill or Iyer, I would say BCCI has done a good job in giving it to Gill, because the difference of age between Gill and Iyer is not too much, even if Iyer captains for a few years. And when the transition has to happen, Gill would have also reached a certain age, after which he can't do captaincy for a long time. So now Gill taking captaincy is really a good bet by the BCCI. And talking about Rohit Sharma, I think I would again say age is another major factor. And one more important thing is that he plays just one format. And in that one format, he doesn't even play any domestics or any other list A games to groom himself for that format. I agree that he has lost weight, he has reduced 20 kilos or something, but still you need to be playing, you need to be in the group. Even if you're Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli, you need to have that group, else it is very difficult. So what if, imagine a situation, Rohit Sharma is given captaincy, he plays, but just because he plays one format, he becomes rusty. And then the very next year he says, I'm not going to go to the World Cup. Then what will BCCI do? Where will they go for answers? Where will they go for the new captain? So these are the questions that lingers. They have gone with a safe option a little bit earlier, giving it to Gill and grooming the team for the World Cup of 2027. So which is good in my case.
The first aspect is, the World Cup 27 is in South Africa. Okay. It's in October 2027. Now, when you think of how many matches India has between now and that World Cup, we've got roughly 24 ODIs. That's actually scheduled. BCCI might add another 5 more depending on, I mean, they can wiggle their way through, right? They can call somebody and say, let's play, right? And somebody will come and play. So I think minimum 24 matches, could be another 3 or 4 more, right? So 28 matches, right? So we've got enough time to plan a settled squad before that World Cup, right? But the challenge India has is, if you look at start from the Australia series, we only have 2 away series. So everything else is at home, right? So we've got Australia in Australia, and then we've got England in England. So that's 6 matches. 18 out of the 24 are home, right? So that's going to be something that we have to work through, because you can't be playing in India 18 out of 24 matches and preparing yourself for South Africa, right? So that has to change. The third is, you look at Shreyas Iyer, right? Shreyas Iyer is 31 this December. He's probably going to be 33 close come World Cup. He goes for a series, he gets injured, he gets out, right? So if you are a selector and if you are sort of the board, where would you put your bets on, right? Obviously, for Rohit and Kohli, there's a lot of unknown. And we're talking about 2 years out. We're not even talking about next year. So we don't even know if they're going to be in form, fitness. I mean, you can lose 20 kilos, right? For that matter, you could make Vidyut Chammal the captain of India, right? If fitness was the criteria, right? Where do you go? You obviously go to Shubman Gill, right? Instead of speculating whether this is like a lot of issues in the dressing room, I'd actually say nothing. It's a pretty clean preparation. It's probably the most thought through preparation and squad that I've seen from a board in a very, very long time. So I feel very confident about this decision and what they've tried to do.
The selection of Gill is probably the easiest call they could have taken. He is part of the leadership group in the white ball format of the game, and he is the captain, undisputable captain in the red ball side of the equation. And that's how it really should be. Otherwise, they'll always be jousting for players. hey, I want Bumrah to play every tournament, every white ball tournament. I need to win. And the red ball guys will say, no, I want Bumrah to be safe. So that confusion really needed to be avoided. Remember, the only way we can treat the 27 World Cup as a success is if we win that. Like getting to semis and finals is not success for us. We got to the final of the last one and semis before that. So for a winning combination, we really need to be start planning now, and Gill needed to be given the reins for it. There wasn't even a discussion around who else could be the captain, really.
Now let's also look at the batting setup. Rohit is now only a player and not the captain, which means that his place in the playing 11 depends purely on his performance. Yashasvi Jaiswal, who has been brilliant across formats, is in the squad and he's clearly pushing for that opening spot, right? And Dhruv Jurel's inclusion is exciting, but with KL Rahul in great form and capable of keeping wickets, it will not be easy for Jurel to find a place in the 11. Then there is Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli. They have been excellent in the Champions Trophy earlier this year. So what should be the ideal batting order in the Australian conditions?
You see the top 5 picks itself, with Rohit starting with Gill, Kohli, Iyer, and maybe KL Rahul. And KL Rahul might swap his position with 5, 6, depending on the conditions, like he did in the Champions Trophy. So that was Rohit's strategy. Maybe Gill would fit Rahul at number 5. Dhruv Jurel, exciting, like you say, but what I feel is that KL Rahul should be there in the lineup as batter keeper. There is no special place for Jurel as of now.
My worry is that we are banking on two people, two key batters, playing just the one format and banking on being at the World Cup 2 years from now. This doesn't sound like great planning, but hopefully the fact that they are great players will kind of take care of that.
I mean, the plan is to give them the 3 matches to see how they perform. Obviously, if Rohit and Kohli show form, that's going to augur well for India, right? I mean, I would always want to have an experienced hand, especially when you're playing overseas World Cup, in the dressing room, right? So the question is whether their age and their form will sort of be with them, or who knows, right? So I think it's a good thought to have them tested early, so you know whether they're going to make it or not. If they're not, at least this becomes their farewell series. Let's get Australia's earnings to pay for their farewell. And then let's see, right, what happens, right? Then we've got 21 matches after that to plan. I think the challenge we're going to have as a team is, it's pretty clear, right? Jaiswal is understudy to Rohit. So clearly, right, Jaiswal will take over if Rohit leaves. The question is, who does that for Kohli, right? Now, obviously, we can argue KL Rahul could play that position, right, and take over from Kohli. You could have Shreyas Iyer do that. But I just don't feel like that piece is still settled yet. Probably, I don't see it right now. So, look, honestly, as an Indian cricket fan, not having proper farewells for legends is something that we have to eliminate, right? I think the last farewell that I remember properly that was done was Sachin. I haven't seen a farewell really given to a player like over a period of time. So I feel like this is good, right? These people deserve it. If it means one series, we sort of give them that opportunity. Why not, right? It's fine.
Kohli, he now lives in London with his family, and he has mentioned before in an interview that when he leaves, he'll leave quietly and he won't be there for a while. The journey to 2027 World Cup will require consistency, discipline, and that hunger which Virat Kohli brings in. To stay in rhythm, he might need to return to domestic cricket or county cricket, like Jagdeep Uncle told, and he might have to play the Vijay Hazare Trophy, which he last played in 2010. And Jadeja, on the other hand, right, he confirmed in the post-match presentation that he was informed about being left out for the Australia series. Yet he also spoke about his dream of winning the 2027 World Cup. With India now testing new spin and new all-round options, it remains to be seen whether that dream will stay alive. So, do Kohli and Jadeja have a clear road ahead, or is it starting to fade with the rise of a new generation?
Kohli will last because he's made this decision very deliberately, and I have full faith in him planning it all the way. He planned his exit from India. He planned his exit from Test cricket. And as Sudhi has pointed out, I don't think we have a ready replacement for him. So even if he were to not really perform in a series or two, he'll persist and we'll take him to the World Cup for sure. Jadeja, I have my doubts, simply because we are going to have the World Cup in South Africa, and Akshar Patel is a much better like-for-like replacement, much younger replacement. If they didn't take 2 left-arm spinning all-rounder options to Australia, I don't think they'll be considering them for the South Africa World Cup. They'll probably punt for a bunch of fast bowlers, and they'll punt for maybe a couple of those fast bowling all-rounders. If Reddy remains fit, or they might look at introducing Shivam Dube into the 50-over squad as well. So I don't see a role for Jadeja. He'll probably see out the WTC cycle and then he'll bid farewell to international cricket. He's one of my favorite cricketers, but I don't think I see a path for him to the 27 World Cup in South Africa for the 50-over version.
I think Jadeja's point is pretty clear, right? I mean, of course, right? I don't think his fielding is replaceable yet, but I think his bowling and his all-round capability generally is replaceable through Akshar Patel. So I think the piece that we have to think about, right, is if you think of Kohli, Rohit, and Jadeja, right, what are these guys playing for? They've earned as much as they, potentially can, or they more. They obviously are not playing for fame anymore, right? They've had enough periods of fame. I think what they're truly playing for is that desire to play at the highest level and obviously desire to win, right? So when these guys want to play for India, you probably respect them, right? You don't sort of question, oh, why do you need to play for India, right? Like it's because that's how they're built, right? Their psyche is built that way. So I think that's where the selection sort of committee and Gambhir and, obviously Gill will now have to play a bigger role to say, okay, how do we objectively assess this? Because it's no longer about just emotions. It's our desire. It's about, okay, can you actually contribute to the squad in the manner that we want you to, right? So let's assess, let's see the series. I mean, hopefully something will, give in.
So coming to the all-rounders, or rather lack of all-rounders, right? We don't have Hardik Pandya. As we all saw, we don't have Jadeja in the squad for the Australia series. That leaves a huge gap in the team balance, right? We have Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar, and Nitish Reddy as our all-rounders. Hardik Pandya is still recovering from the quadriceps injury which he caught in the Asia Cup, and Reddy will likely play as a fast bowling all-rounder, but how effective he will be with the ball in Australian conditions is still a question to be asked. Should India go with an Akshar or Washington as a spin all-rounder with Nitish Reddy? I mean, the combination would decide the entire balance of the side, right? How many all-rounders would you play and who will be the all-rounders would you?
Do you deliberately ignore Harshit Rana? Like, how can you do that?
I mean,
Right?
he's coming to the next
He
season,
is.
so let's keep him.
So I think, listen, I mean, the conditions, right, is obviously going to play a big role of who we play and we don't play, right? Look, if I was planning a squad, having one batting fast bowling all-rounder, which is Nitish Reddy, and one bowling/batting all-rounder is the right balance in the squad, right? So from that perspective, I feel very confident about Harshit Rana, and I'm a big fan of Harshit Rana. I think he is underrated. The guy will, shine. You got to give him time. He's a young guy. But having Harshit Rana, Nitish Reddy/Hardik Pandya adds such an incredible balance to the squad in any condition. Yeah, and then you got Washington Sundar and Akshar, and you could pick one of them or both, depending on the condition. I think we're well stocked. This is the best sort of all-round ability in the team that I've seen in a very long time. So I feel very good about this.
I somehow don't have the kind of faith which Sudhi has on Harshit Rana, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. The fact that Harshit Rana has been selected, let's give him credit for that. Let's give the selector some credit for that, because obviously in a team like India, which has so many people from white ball, especially to choose from, they are punting for Harshit Rana. They must have seen something. And as I said, I'm happy to be proven wrong for the sake of Indian cricket. But I am worried about the fitness or lack of it of Hardik Pandya, because he is a very vital cog as far as the hard bouncy pitches is concerned. And what really, really worries me, and that is across all formats, is that suddenly our fast bowlers are no longer fit. Like Bumrah was never the sort of person who will go through an entire tournament or a series. Now we don't have people like Akashdeep. I don't know where our bank of fast bowlers is gone. So to go through a tournament like the World Cup, where we'll have to win or we'll have to play 12 games over, I don't know, maybe 30, 35 days or maybe 40 days, we need a bank of fast bowlers to win in South Africa. Our batting is kind of okay. We'll have replacement and we'll have replacement of replacements. But our bowling, that is our fast bowling, and our fast bowling all-rounders is what really worries me, unless we really figure out a gem or discover a gem between now and October 27.
This is where I wanted to bring Harshit Rana, right? Just like how Jagdeep Uncle was skeptical, Ravindra is also skeptical. He recently joked that only true all-format player right now is Harshit Rana. And he also told that his call-up might have come from the memorable delivery against Nitish Reddy a couple of years ago in the IPL final. And he also told for that one delivery, he has been given a long enough run. And then meanwhile, right, Jasprit Bumrah, just like all of us talk, he has been rested, citing workload management, right? And that makes me wonder, why did he play 2 tests against West Indies if he was due for rest now? Also, Mohammad Shami is like fully fit, right? He has bowled in the Duleep Trophy and yet he has not been picked. Siraj is leading the attack again in this series. Arshdeep Singh and Prasidh Krishna are expected to feature alongside him. Given the pace-friendly nature of Australian pitches, right, Kuldeep Yadav might not find himself in the 11. So the balance becomes critical, right? Should India go with three pacers, Nitish Kumar Reddy and one spinning all-rounder, or should they pick an extra pacer just for the more bite?
Harshit Rana, I think someone in some corner has identified something in him, and he is in the Indian side. So what I feel is he deserves a long rope, and the hate on social media is simply senseless from my point of view. If he's there, I think he has done some hard work to be there. Those speaking on social media, I don't think they have done any hard work to talk about him much. See, the main thing again is he's a handy batter as well. So maybe they are trying to fit him in at number 8, probably after the all-rounder at number 7. So just giving some more cushion to the batting. And this case of Jasprit Bumrah is very, very tricky again and again. He's being rested in very pivotal games and being given chances in useless games. So, in my opinion, I think, yeah, that is also in a good sense, actually. See, Siraj leading an attack without Bumrah, I think he has done really well. He has taken up the responsibility. And I feel Arshdeep Singh should play all the games. Again, he shouldn't be rested here. So, he played in the Asia Cup as well. So, he should be playing more for India rather than warming the benches.
I'll tell you why I'm a big fan of Harshit Rana, right? Because I said it before, right? I'll tell you why. And I'll divide it into two parts, right? First is let's look at Harshit Rana himself, right? First of all, right, he's got the physique of a real good fast bowler who can play consistently without an injury, right? I mean, you look at Prasidh Krishna. I mean, the reason why I'm picking Prasidh Krishna is both are hit the deck kind of bowlers. Prasidh Krishna cannot hold his back, for heaven's sake, because when you're a hit the deck bowler, it takes a lot on your back. And Harshit Rana shows the sort of the appetite as well as the ability to stay fit longer, right? That's underrated, right? Number one. Number two is there's an air of arrogance about it. With Kohli leaving the Indian team, you need somebody who has that in the team, who can give it back to players, right? Harshit Rana has that meanie attitude about him, right? The guy stares, he creates something with his on-field behavior, right? Third is the guy can actually bat, right? I mean, we all get so carried away by Shardul Thakur because he could hit few sixes. This bugger can actually bat. He is not just a bowler. He can bat, right? And you've seen it consistently, right? So I feel very comfortable when you have that combination. We've not had that in Indian team for a while. None of our bowlers could even hold a bat, right? Here is a guy who can bowl at 145 or 140 consistently, stays fit, right? Most of the times, has an attitude about himself, an arrogance about, his behavior, and, and obviously can add to the team and can bat, right? You don't see that combination of, right? You got to protect this guy, right? Rather than trolling him. Like, these are not kids that are born often, right? That's one. Second is, okay, if you take Harshit Rana out, who's the option? Who's the option in the domestic cricket? Who can replace? Which player? Give me one player. Simarjeet Singh? No way. Gurjapneet Singh? I've seen him last play for Dindikal, whatever, right? Like, really? Like, when people troll, what are you thinking, right? Who? This is nonsense. This has to stop. Once a player is picked for the country, you can't troll him, right? Like, I think our fans get away with a lot more, right? Like, imagine the pressure this kid might have. Give him space, let him play, right? If he fails, of course, right? Selectors are going to make a decision. But even before that, people want to have an opinion, right? Of like the simple question I asked when somebody said, "Oh, Harshit Rana has got a permanent seat in the team." Like, who else? Tell me who. Who in the domestic cricket can actually bowl and actually can contribute to the bat? Tell me. Then I'll change my mind.
And I think the other thing which we probably haven't talked about enough is that in places like Australia and South Africa, Kuldeep has to play, guys. I just don't know where this idea of going in without the most intriguing form of bowler, that is a left arm Chinaman, who is a proven match winner. I don't know why India even considers going into any tournament without Kuldeep. Like, forget about the bits and pieces players. Here is a guy who will get you wickets between over 10 and 40, like consistently. And those wickets are like gold. Really, without Kuldeep, there should be no test squad picked, no limited over squad picked, no T20. Actually, I don't really care much. But without Kuldeep and without a fit Bumrah, there should be no Indian bowling attack.
Having a wrist spinner in the squad of the quality of Kuldeep is an asset in any condition. In fact, more so in overseas conditions. I think sometimes we get carried away that we need a turning track for spinners to be effective. Actually, not. Yeah. These guys can actually bowl well on bouncy, where it's hard wickets. And Chinaman can actually be very deceptive, right, for batsmen to play there.
This series is not just about beating Australia, right? Obviously, you want to go to a series and beat the team there. But the series is not just about beating Australia. It's about finding answers. It's about who leads Indian cricket into this next chapter. What is the right batting balance? Who forms the new all-round core? For fans, this moment brings both excitement and uncertainty, right? But one thing is certain, Indian cricket is evolving in the series, and this series might quietly embark the beginning of a new era. Thank you. Until the next video, keep watching Beyond Boundaries.